Hello, my name is Kevin Kusner, and today I'm going to show you how to add some sweet LEDs to the front of your computer. One thing that's always got me about most LED case mods is that they're kind of static, they're kind of bland. And so I thought to myself, well, what can be done about this? And so I've created some LEDs hooked up to a microcontroller which communicates through USB to the computer, and the computer tells it its current CPU usage, and the microcontroller changes the color of the LEDs based on the current CPU usage. So just kind of look at the hardware here. To start out, we've got a, if I can move the camera properly, that's an 18 mega 48A. It's running at 16 megahertz. So the resistors right here are the USB connections along with these Zener diodes, because this thing's running at 5 volts and USB requires 3.3 for signaling. This right here is the MOSFETs that are used as drivers for the LEDs, and I have 2 of them hooked up, but I have one taped to the table right here. Right now the LED is in standby mode, or the whole system is. So what this does is there is a program running on the computer in the background which will communicate the CPU usage to the device. At the moment this only runs on Linux because I had a little bit of an issue trying to get everything working on Windows, because I only have the 64-bit version of Windows 7, which doesn't like the libUSB driver very much. So anyway, I'm just going to start this up and you'll be able to see the LED change. So you can see now it's going to blue and it's holding blue. So at close to 0 CPU usage it is blue, about 50% it's green, and then 100% it's red. So if I were to run the Phoronix test suite, if it wants to load today, we can see the CPU color change. You'll notice up here I have my CPU graph. So we will start the test and you'll see it turns red and it holds red, as this is 100% CPU. Basically what we're going to do is that we are going to mount this or solder it to one of these boards. It's something cheap I got off eBay. I have a whole bunch of parts that I got off DigiKey, which are going to go into this, and this is going to eventually hook up to one of the internal motherboard USB ports. So it does require a little bit of soldering, and I also don't have an exact part layout, so you'll have to get a little creative with that if you decide to duplicate this project. The software and the parts list are all on my website, which is kusnersoft.com. So I guess on to the hardware. Alright, so for me this is the fun part, putting the hardware together. So what I've got here, I'm going to move the camera around so everybody can see. So this is the breadboard that we had earlier. Basically all of these parts, except for the transformer and power supply and stuff, are going to be going onto this board. I got some really cool IC sockets. I've never gotten these kind before, but they have crimped ends, and it makes it really easy to fit them on the board, because they don't fall out when you go when you have to turn the board upside down to solder it. So I think that's pretty cool. Aside from the parts on the board, I also have some half watt 15 ohm resistors, which I'm going to use to replace the quarter watt resistor that is running these 4 LEDs right here. This was my previous case mod. That was the bland static white LEDs shining through my fan grills. So these are going to be augmented, and I'm going to, by placing the color LED right here in the middle. On the inside of my computer, I'm probably going to end up putting the board into the empty external 3.5-inch slot. I'm not sure exactly what my mounting situation is going to be yet. We'll get there when we get there. But eventually I hope to go to the hardware store and get some aluminum bar, like they sell those really long strips, and just get some of that, drill a couple holes in it, and use that to mount the board. I'm going to be using one of these internal motherboard USB ports, which is very, very well covered up, but it's like right here under all these cables. So I guess I am going to solder all this together and then put it all in, and we will see what happens. Oh, hello again. So I have just finished installing and building this module, and so the whole process took about 7 hours. It was 5 hours for the actual soldering and building, and about 2 hours to install on the computer. So if we take a look at my computer, you can see where I've put it. The module is sitting right here. You can see that I decided to make it not fully USB powered because the problem is the USB buses stay active when the computer is in standby, and I keep this in my room and it could be pretty bright at night when I have my computer on standby. So I have the Molex connector that's usually used for floppy disks connected up to this thing, and I have a programming header I installed. If we look at it from the back view, you can see, if I can move the camera right again, there it is. So I've got the microcontroller right across there, and the MOSFET drivers are up here, and the USB stuff is down here. So I have intentions to eventually put another channel on this thing so it can control the white LEDs as well, but for the moment it just has this resistor. Because I used a 1/4 watt resistor before, and I think I mentioned I got some 1/2 watt resistors that will not overheat when the computer is in use for long periods of time. So anyway, it looks pretty cool, so I'll show it in action here. So at the moment it's just cycling through the colors because nothing's running to control it. So if I turn on controller, we get down to just keeping it steady at blue, and then we run stress CPU 2 again, and it turns red. And so that's basically what my computer will look like when I'm doing stuff on it. It's going to be pretty awesome. I may have to change the location of my computer so everybody can see it. But anyway, I highly recommend this project if you feel like duplicating it, you have a lot of time on your hands, and you're bored or something. It's really, really fun to do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.